So Exodus 20, do you know what this chapter is about?
Yeah, about the commandments.
Well, it's starting with the 10 Commandments, right?
Yeah.
The 10, even though there's more than that.
Not do,
it's starting that. So here's the
adore images.
Right, I'm going to get that for you, but watch this. Here's where we mess up at. Is because we read that, but we don't fully understand it. All right?
Right.
So watch this. Read.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 4. Thou.
No, let's start with verse 1. We're just going to go down a little bit, all right?
Verse 1. And God spake these words, saying.
So these are God's words that we're getting ready to read, right? God spake these words. Come on.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Because we were serving slavery in Egypt, right? That's how we came from Egypt to here. Come on.
Out of the house of bondage.
And that's what Egypt means. It's slavery, bondage. Come on.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Number one, don't have no other gods before him. God is our God and he's God alone.
Amen.
That's number one. You agree with that,
Amen.
right?
I agree with that.
All praises. Come on.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Right. So he's saying don't make to thee any graven image. All right. What is a graven image? Somebody get the dictionary. Look at the word graven.
What a man will do, like, a carve, whatever, and
Hey, Miss
start
go get the
worshiping it.
Zondervan and look
That's
up
an
the word
image,
graven.
I want the word graven. Graven. What does the word graven mean? You know?
Exactly, probably I don't, but I know that we're not to make images of anything. Like,
No. See, now you're combining something. I'm dealing with one thing specifically. What does the word graven mean? You don't know? That's fair. So, if I'm reading something and you don't know what some of the words mean, how can you understand what I'm reading?
Bring it out.
Or what's being read?
Yeah.
Right? It makes sense, right? You can't. Right? If I was to look at one of these signs that's in Spanish and I read it, but I don't know what it's saying in Spanish, it did me no good, right?
Right.
I can read it, but I don't know what it's saying. Watch this. Give me the definition of the word graven. This is the definition of the word graven.
Graven image. An image of wood, stone, or metal, shaped with a sharp cutting instrument as distinguished from one cast in a mold.
Okay, so that is the definition, biblical definition of graven image. So in today's time, we're not necessarily carving things out. Some do, right? Some of them could be pictures. It could be anything, right? All right, so now watch this. About the graven image.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Now, that's where we stop at. Okay, no graven images. If there's anything we have, we're not supposed to look at that, whatever. That's a graven image, right? But let's see specifically what the Lord's talking about.
Or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth.
Watch this.
Thou shalt not bow down.
Now, hold on. We are not saying to bow down to none of these images.
Bring it out.
That's where the sin comes in at. You having a picture in your house, there's no sin in that. You having a poster in your house, that's no sin in that. You have a kid picture in your wallet, whatever it is, there's no sin in that. But when you take that image and bow down, that's when it becomes a sin. That's when it's a graven image. Because that image has no power in it. The image has no power or authority over you. It's just the image, just a picture. So we're not saying to take this picture and you go home and do your Hail Marys or bow down to it. We're not saying that. But this is an accurate depiction based off what the Bible says Christ looked, not this, of what Christ looked like. All right? This is an accurate depiction. Did you know that?
Well, all I can tell you is that I read the Bible, and for what I know and for what I seen and for what I noticed back in the days, it was. I mean, the Israelites, they were dark. So, in my mind, Jesus was dark. Jesus was black.
That's true.
In my mind.
Well, that's what the
I
Bible
don't know
says,
what, and I don't care what people think, but that in my mind, he was dark.
Good. That's what the
That's all I
Bible
know.
says. I'm going to show you that in a second. But now, you said you read the Bible, right?
Yeah.
So again, reading something and then comprehending and understanding
It's
is a different thing, right? I'm going to show you something. Watch this.
Acts chapter 8 and verse 30. And Philip ran thither to him and heard him read the prophet Isaiah.
So Philip ran over there because he heard him reading from the book of Isaiah. All right, watch this.
And said, understandest thou what thou readest?
I hear you reading it, but do you understand what you're reading? Watch what he said.
And he said, how can I?
He said, how can I? How can I understand this?
Except some man should guide me.
Except a man guide me. Because guess what? Before I came into this understanding, I read this Bible too. I was in the Christian church for 30 years. But I didn't know what Christ, I couldn't prove what Christ looked like. The only thing I can say is what you said.
John 3:16.
Yeah.
But now let me ask you, so you know John 3:16, you know what that means? You fully know what John 3:16 means?
Kind of.
No? Okay.
I can say.
You do, you do.
You know.
Go to John 3:16. Okay.
God so loved the world.
Okay, okay. Good. So he says he knows John 3:16. Okay. Read John 3:16 for him.
John chapter 3, verse 16.
Read it out.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish.
Okay, now, hold this Bible up where John 3:16 is at. Show it to him. No, don't show it. Just show him about right there, right there. Perfect. So all of this came before John 3:16. What does that say?
Well, this is what I know. I mean, what I understand. That
No.
all this stuff right here, it don't matter because
So you're saying,
God so loved the world.
So you're saying, okay, so I want to get this straight because I'm going to show you something. So you're saying none of this matters.
he does in a way, but he doesn't at the end because he says
So if
that
you
he
were to
gave,
talk to, if
that
you were to
all I
talk,
need to know that he gave his life for me.
so if you were to talk to a 6-year-old kid, and you told the kid none of this mattered, but it do, but just, does that make sense? Is that confusing?
kind of.
Okay, now, hold on. Okay, so you read John 3:16. We just read that. What does John 3:14 say? There's 2 verses above it. What does that say?
I don't remember.
What is it talking about? So wait a minute. What you said? What's your name again? One more time.
Andrew.
Huh?
Andrew.
Let me get this straight. I want to make sure I got this straight. You're telling me you know what John 3:16 says, but if I go 2 verses up, you don't know what? You don't even know how does it start.
I know, not really.
You don't even know nothing about it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? What book can you read where you can bypass 2/3 of it and read one little sentence in that book and then it disqualifies everything in the book? What sense does that make? Does that make any sense?
It does.
It makes sense.
You need to go.
See, listen, man.
You need to
Christianity.
go before and then above.
Christianity is worse than crack cocaine. You're sitting there saying that 2/3 of this book don't mean nothing, but one verse in here disqualifies everything it read before that. Are you serious?
It doesn't disqualify it, but it, like I said, I mean,
It matters, but then it don't matter.
It
That's
matters.
confusing as hell.
It matters.
That don't make
But at
no
the same
sense.
time, all
Let's
we
read
need to
John
know-
3:14. Watch this.
John,
Since you don't know, I'm gonna read John 3:14.
John chapter 3, verse 14. Bring it out. And as Moses lifted up the serpent.
Now, as Moses lifted up the serpent, what does that mean? Just 2 verses above. Give me that. You're already 21. You got it? Okay. So as Moses lifted up the serpent, we're going to finish verse 14. Hold your hand there, though. Watch this.
As Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up.
Who's the Son of Man?
Jesus.
Good. Now, but he gave a comparison. It said, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, so must the Son of Man be lifted up. What's the history on that? Because it's saying it has to be the same way, right? It's saying that it has to be the same way. He said, as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so, meaning the same way, Christ, the Son of Man, must be lifted up. So doesn't that matter what happened in the wilderness? We got to know what happened. So we know how we're supposed to lift up Christ, right? Right? Makes sense, right? Okay, now let me give you the history on that. Deuteronomy 1:1 first, so we know who's been. Deuteronomy 1:1. I mean, what book are you in? I think Numbers 1:1 should do it. Numbers 1:1. Numbers 1:1.
The book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 1. And the Lord spoke unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, and the tabernacles of the congregation. On the
So who's speaking to Moses? Where at? Read it again. Read it
and the
again.
Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness.
Where at?
Wilderness.
So it said, just as Moses lifted up the serpent in where?
Wilderness.
The wilderness. So we're speaking to that history. Now go to verse chapter 21. Watch this.
Verse chapter 21 and verse 6. And the Lord sent fiery serpents.
Remember, he had to lift up a serpent. Okay, here we go.
Among the people, and they bit the people, and much people of Israel died.
So fiery doesn't mean these serpents were spitting out fire like a dragon. It means these are poisonous snakes. All right? These snakes were poisonous, like your rattlesnakes and things like that, right? Poisonous, so you get bit by a poisonous snake. That time they didn't have antidote or nothing like that, so they would die. So a lot of these people died. A lot of Israel died. Right? Just want to say it.
Therefore, the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned.
We have what?
We have sinned.
What caused those serpents to bite them? Sin.
Read. For we have spoken against the Lord and against thee. Pray unto the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. And Moses prayed for the people. And the Lord said unto Moses, make thee a fiery serpent and set it upon a pole. And it shall come to pass that every one that is bitten, when he looketh upon it, shall live.
So let me give you an example. Have you ever seen an ambulance before? Right. You know how it has like that snake wrapped around a pole? You ever seen that? That's where that came from.
Right.
Right? You understand what I'm saying? You seen that symbol, right? That's what Moses did. He put that snake, the serpent, wrapped it around the stick, and watch what the Lord told him to do with it.
And Moses made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole. And it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. And the children of Israel.
The children of who?
And the children of Israel.
Everybody in the world?
And the children of Israel.
Esau, the white man?
And the children of Israel.
Moab, the Asian man?
And the children of Israel.
Ammon, the Japanese man?
And the children of Israel.
Okay, so he's speaking specifically about the children of Israel right now.
Set forward and pitched an oboth.
Yeah, you're good. So when the children of Israel looked at that, if they got bit, they would live. All right, now let's go back to John 3:14. Watch this.
John chapter 3 and verse 14.
Now, you got to be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together now. Now that you know the history, what happened in the wilderness? What happened in the wilderness? No, but before that, what happened to Israel? What was happening to them?
We're being slaves.
No. Before that, they was getting bit by snakes and dying. We just read it, right? They got bit by snakes and was dying. And then what happened? What did the Lord tell Moses to do?
Well, look at the snake and the people from Israel. I mean,
You see what I mean? We just read this, and you're not, because you're set in your mind. I don't want to believe nothing he's saying, so I'm not paying attention. You set in your mind. Listen, we just read the history. Let me go through it again. Sin, our people in Israel, our brothers and sisters were sinning, going against God. They got bit by poisonous snakes. So they went to Moses and said, Moses, can you save us? We're dying. We're getting bit by these snakes. Moses went to the Lord. The Lord said, I want you to make a brass snake on a stick and raise it up. And anytime Israel gets bit by that or snake, look up at that and you'll be saved. We just read it, right? You understand that now? Okay, now let's go to John 3:14. Watch this. This is key. That's why reading and comprehension is truly, that's what's fundamental. You got to be able to comprehend or understand what you're reading. Watch.
John chapter 3 verse 14. And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness.
Remember the wilderness, we just talked about that. We went through the history on that. Even as Moses lifted up the serpent. So what did Moses do? Did he leave the snake down here? He raised it up high. He lifted it up high above himself, right? Come on.
And as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so,
Meaning the same way,
must the Son of Man be lifted up.
you must lift Christ up the same way. But who was looking at that stick and being saved? Who?
the Israelites.
Israel. What about the other nations?
This is the Israelites.
Israelites. So when we lift up Christ by repenting and keeping the commandments, who's going to be saved? Israel. Israel be saved. That's right. Now go to John 3:16. One more time. Come on.
John chapter 3 verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son.
Now, the world, when you think of the world, what does the word world mean?
Everybody?
Everybody, right? That's what you think, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? I thought that too. But then I thought about it. If I was to go to San Diego where they have all those big whales and stuff, you can go pay to go in and watch them swim and do all that. What is that place called?
SeaWorld.
See, what?
SeaWorld.
Oh, so that's a different kind of world, huh? You see what I'm saying? Because at first you're thinking that it's just one place, right? But there's a different world. Give me Isaiah 45. Yeah, and then I'm going to stop right here. We give you a flyer, give us a call, and we continue to break this down for you so you understand who this is talking about, all right? Okay, all praises. Watch this, watch this. Just for the word world, right?
Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17. But
Israel, right? Lord specific. Israel
shall be saved.
Now, Israel shall be saved. Come on.
And the Lord with an everlasting salvation.
Everlasting, that's forever. Israel's going to be saved with an everlasting salvation. Come on.
Ye shall not be unashamed.
Don't be ashamed because I chose you over everybody else. Because you would think, well, that's for everybody, or we all can get. No, the Lord said, I chose you. Ye shall not be ashamed of that. Come on.
Nor confounded.
Don't be confounded when somebody say, no, everybody. No, for them. No, don't be confounded. Understand what this say. Read.
World.
What?
World.
What did the Lord call Israel?
World.
He called Israel the world
without end.
Because without end means everlasting. Read it one more time without me interrupting.
But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded. World without end.
So when you look at John 3:16, the world that he's talking about, for God so loved the world, he's talking about the world of Israel and none else. All right? So you got that flyer. Give us a call. We'll continue to break this down with you so you get a proper understanding.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.